My name is Lory Wasserman. I joined Temple Israel 30 years ago. It was about 1994, I believe, when we first moved to Weston, Connecticut from New York. And I picked this area because of this temple, actually, because it had a vibrant Jewish community, and this was a large Reform synagogue, which was what I was used to in Indianapolis. Over about a 1.5 to 2 year period, my husband and I were looking for houses. So I started asking around, where is a Jewish community in Connecticut? And time again, people told me it's in the Westport, Weston area. So that was a little far for my husband to be commuting to New York, but that is the reason why we settled here. When my daughter was 12, we walked into Rabbi Orkan's office because she refused to have bat mitzvah. Danielle was very headstrong. And Rabbi Orkan said, I totally get it. I totally understand, but you know what, Danielle? You are already going to be a bat mitzvah when you're 13. It's already happened. And she was just perplexed. She was like, okay. He's like, you don't have to do all the studying. You don't have to lead the service. You are just, by turning 13, bat mitzvah. And my husband at first looked at him and goes, that's all you can do? That's the best you can do? And I thought that was a perfect answer, because she came back to it on her own anyway. After her first year in college, and she went to a small liberal arts school in upstate New York and very few Jewish kids, she came back and she said, I really would like to be bat mitzvah, and Mom, I want you to do it with me since you didn't have one. And Alyssa Mendelson, the assistant rabbi, who was my friend, said, you have to take this journey with her. So then I started learning Hebrew with Alyssa, and Danielle and I decided almost a year to the day she asked to go ahead and have this meaningful experience. And it really was. It was just incredible. It was life-changing. When Alan became very involved with the temple is when he was diagnosed with his illness. He sat us down with Rabbi Friedman 2 months into his chemotherapy, not knowing if he would last 5 months, and said, I want to get to know you. I want you to know who I am when I pass. I want you to be able to talk about me authentically. I want you to know my family. I want my family to know you. I want a connection. So he brought us to the temple to walk through the doors to actually get to know Rabbi Friedman and his wife. Then he decided that he wanted to make the candelabra for the bima. He wanted to have something long-lasting where people would remember him, I think. That was part of it, but also he just was so creative, and he wanted to express the beauty that he found in being at the temple. So when Alan passed away, I wasn't really sure how I was going to commemorate him. And it took me a while to come to the conclusion that I did to start the fund that I did. Alan was very grounded in the 60s music, the Kinks, the Beatles, the Stones, he just loved that. So that transitioned into almost all kinds of music, anything you could think of. And the more obscure, the more he was into it. And he brought that gift to me because he had us in the city constantly for date nights doing this and going to very unusual, obscure venues that up here in Weston, Connecticut, you'd never hear of. The Alan C. Wasserman Musical Artistry Fund, so it's to give money so that we can have a full ensemble band for special events that take place, not necessarily every Shabbat, but maybe 1 or 2 times a month. And also to bring in guest artists that might be able to do like a long weekend workshop, community circles, and getting people involved in drumming and singing, and I'd like to see that. I feel like he's my brother, my friend, my rabbi. I look to him for guidance, especially during all this Israel fiasco. And He just mentioned last night that he might want to start a committee where next steps for how to deal with what's going on in Israel. And I just saw him in the hallway and said, I want to be involved. There are a lot of them, but I have to say the B'nai Mitzvah. I think that was a banner moment. It really was. And then, of course, Alan presenting his candelabra and listening to his words, and total strangers not knowing how much it meant for him to do this, and then coming up to me when I did the dedication and saying, thank you so much for shedding light on why we have this candelabra, because I was in the audience when Alan presented this and I never knew the backstory. So those were all banner moments. I feel like in today's world, it's very important to let people know that I am Jewish in light of what's going on, and be proud of it and stand up for it. I have a lot of non-Jewish friends, and I like to engage them in conversation about what's happening in Israel, get their viewpoints, and then share mine. But I feel safe here with a community in Temple Israel where we're all sharing what's going on, and we can do something about it. So I feel very connected to my Judaism now more than ever before. And I think the reason I do feel that way is because of Temple Israel and the guidance that we have from the rabbi. Awe and wonder. Temple Israel, when I am sitting and listening to the music with my eyes closed, that is awe and wonder. I meditate, I practice yoga, I don't get the same feeling as I do when I'm in temple listening to our prayers. That's awe and wonder for me. I might get it at a music concert. It's not the same thing. It's not deep, deep, deep here in my soul. The other thing I guess I would say is healing and comfort, because when Alan was going through his illness, which really lasted quite a long time, this was a place where he and I could hold hands and just take in what was happening to us. And we didn't really do that anywhere else. I mean, we might have at a concert or at one of his dinners, but there were many, many people around. This is when it was just he and I. And I was able to do that with him on even just a Friday night. So we both needed that, and we got it here.